It's finally like fall outside. Yesterday, it was 20 degrees and like 30 degrees with the humidity, and it was terrible. And today, it's the opposite. It's 13 degrees and feels like 5 with the wind chill. So this is more my style. I'm really excited about reading some cozy and spooky books for October. So I am participating in Spooktober as much as I can this month, but I don't think, unfortunately, that I'm going to be doing the readathon, and I was going to just use the prompts as the books to read throughout the whole month, but my life is just, a lot of things that didn't used to stress me out now, or stress me out more than they used to and more than they should, and I just really didn't feel like I had it in me to do a readathon or pick books based on certain things besides books that I just wanted to read. So that's what I'm doing. There's a lot of them though, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get to all of them. But let's tell you the ones I'm at least going to attempt to read. So the first book here is The Carnival of Doom by Richard Denny, although I'm pretty sure goes by Richard Cardenas now with his newer books. And this is the sequel to The Library of Souls, which is a middle grade horror book with spooky pictures in it about a kid who can see ghosts and he helps get rid of them. And I read the first one 2 years ago, I think, on Halloween or near Halloween, and I thought it was great. I thought it was so much fun. If I read that when I was 11, I would have loved it. It kind of reminded me of like a cross between Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children and Goosebumps. And I think if there's any like 11 and 12-year-olds out there who love Goosebumps, they would really enjoy these books. So I thought I would check out the sequel. Now, this one is really little, and the writing is big because it's middle grade. So I could read this really, really quickly. So hopefully this will just help me with my giant TBR. The next book that I have here is Valiant by Holly Black, which is the sequel to Tithe. I read Tithe in high school way back a long time ago. Way back, like, when the book first came out, basically, that's when I read it. Anyway, and I reread it this summer for the reading rush, and I really enjoyed it. And I never continued with the series, because when I was in high school, I thought it was stupid that the other books followed different characters, and I don't think that's stupid anymore, so I'm gonna read the second one. And I'm reading it in October because I feel like it's got very October-y vibes. Like, it's not spooky, but it's just the whole, like, fairy realm and all that kind of stuff just feels very fall-like to me. Now, the next book here is actually, might be the one that I save for the end because I might not get to it, and I don't mind if I end up reading this one in November instead, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. I wanted to read this around Halloween time or just fall time because it's like a Beauty and the Beast thing, so like the Beast part is kind of spooky probably, and the cover is kind of spooky and fall-like, but I feel like if I don't get to this in October, I'll still read it in November and it will feel the same. You know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't matter, you can read books whenever you want, but I wanted to read this around fall time because it gave me those vibes, but yeah, this one. The next one I have here is Sanctuaries, Fiend by Andrew Lynch, which is, I believe, a self-published book that Vanessa from Paper Fairy read a couple years ago, and she said it was really good, and I thought it sounded cute. It's just like your regular high school YA story, except that the main character's a vampire and there's other magical beings, and I really like the cover because it just looks like your standard school picture, except if you look closer, she's a vampire. So I thought that was cute. So I'm going to read this one. The next book that I have is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, which I actually kind of wanted to leave this for like very close to Halloween, like to the end of the month, so that I was reading it like really close to Halloween because of the ghost vibe. So I'm not sure now what I'm going to do because I wanted A Curse So Dark and Lonely to be last in case I didn't get to it. But if I'm just going through these books real quickly, maybe I'll change the order of them. I don't know. I don't know. But I want to read this one, and I got it for Christmas last year, and I've been saving it for Halloween, so I have to read this in October. And the last book is a book that I'm borrowing from a friend of mine, Catherine. So it's Texas Gothic by Rosemary Clement Moore. Rosemary Clement Moore. And I actually read the sequel to this like 6 years ago or 7 years ago when I was fairly new on BookTube. And I didn't know that it was a sequel, and I found this out when I was writing my review, I think, or later. I don't even remember, but it's about different people, so it wasn't a big deal. Like, I wasn't missing anything by reading that first. And I was talking about it to Catherine, and I didn't remember what the first book was called. And she was like, oh, that's interesting. And then she started talking about Texas Gothic and saying she loved it so much, and she loved the atmosphere of it. And she had always wanted to read the sequel, but never did, and she didn't know why, but she couldn't remember what the sequel was, and then we found out that we were talking about the first and second books to each other. So she gave this to me to borrow, and I did not give her mine, I don't think. Nope, it's right there. Oh, you can't see it. But anyway, that's weird of me. But anyway, I would like to read this for Halloween, because ghosts are involved, I think. Those are all my spooky books. I don't know if I'm going to get to them. It's already October 2nd, and I haven't started a new book yet. So I don't know how this is going to go. But we're just going to live our lives. And if I don't read them all, that's okay. They're just books, right? So let me know in the comments what you are reading for October, and if you're participating in Spooktober or any other Halloween-themed readathons or anything like that. And that's all. Have a good day. Bye.